Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And some interesting rugby over the past weekend. This is the URC Round 6 review, and a much, much better weekend for South African sides. 3 teams hitting 50 points, whilst the Stormers were the only South African side to lose. A heartbreaking loss right at the end against Cardiff away to cap off a pretty poor tour, it must be said, for the Stormers. But an interesting Saturday then. A much better Saturday we had for South African teams. And the Sharks recording their first win of the season. The Lions, getting back in style. And the Bulls looking full value for their money against Connacht at what was just a very good weekend of rugby overall. So an upset between Edinburgh and Benetton, for example. We saw a really good match between Munster and Leinster. And that's sort of a weekend to remind us of just how good the URC is as a competition, really. And I really enjoyed watching all the different games. Before we go through some of the results and have a look at the table, please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, it's Friday night. It started with Cardiff beating Stormers 31 points to 21. That try right at the end, robbing the Stormers of a draw. And as I said, unfortunately, they've gone overseas and not won a single game out over there, which is concerning because yes, they're obviously Springboks, and they're the only team really to not have had their Springboks back. No Damien Williamson, no Dion Currie, and Frans Mahera, for example. So quite a few players missing. No Molly Liebach, for example, who I think makes a big difference. But at the end of the day, I think it's still a Stormers side with a decent amount of depth, and I think they should still have gotten certain results over there that they just struggle to do. This was a very interesting result, though. Edinburgh going down to Benetton. Benetton are a good side, but Edinburgh have been playing some great rugby at home. This really should have been Edinburgh's game to lose, and lose they did. But very cool to see Benetton are sort of picking up where they left off from last season and being competitive. And Zebra have improved this season a bit. There's no doubt about it. But they got hammered this last weekend. But Benetton continues to kind of be that shining light of rugby for Italy. But let's look at that Zebra result. 61 points to 19. What a performance it was from the Lions. And yes, they're playing against a Zebra side which beat the Sharks a couple of weeks ago. That drew last weekend. And the Lions are full value for the money. I mean, absolutely brilliant. Franco Horn was sensational. Henk van Wyk scoring tries. Edel van der Merwe looking good. Sinanda Hammer once again at 10, showing the value he can bring. So it was really, really good to see the Lions playing some, really free-flowing rugby, attacking rugby. You could see a couple of weak tries, and it was a bit frustrating, to be honest. But a really good result. As was this 53 points, 27 victory against Connacht. Look, I think these two results, the Lions and Bulls, very much were impacted by the heat. It's been incredibly hot here in Gauteng. And it was very hot on the weekend. And I think there's no doubt that, especially I think Zebra, who had just sort of got down to South Africa, I think there's no doubt that the heat and altitude played a big role. Similarly with, I think, Bulls versus Connacht, I think the heat did play a role there. But that's the whole point of home advantage, isn't it? It's being able to have something like the heat, which most of the home-based players will be used to, and being able to use that advantage. But once again, the Bulls, Yvonne LaRue scoring a try on debut, which is good to see. Scrumming well and starting to really sort of... attacking rugby-wise, they're absolutely brilliant. Still, for me, a big concern of the defense, the fact that they are shipping 20 points almost every game. They're conceding a lot of points this season, so I think that their defense is still a big worry, because I think unless they tighten that up, they're going to really struggle come the Champions Cup and the latter stages of the URC. But the Sharks, well, they brought back their Springboks, and they finally got a victory and moved off of the bottom of the table. 69 points to 14, down Hollywood Kings Park. Marcus Wama-Pimpy, brilliant. Even Smith back. Jaden Hendricks at back. Oxfordshire off the bench was back, and the difference they made was pretty evident. I think for me it's still worrying the fact that they do rely so heavily on Springboks, which of course you will always do. You're always going to rely on your best players, but they're a side that have so many good players that they've got that depth and they should be able to perform. I think what we're seeing is a lot of players taking a while to get used to life under Plumtree and Neil Powell and how they want to play, but they've threatened past the season to sort of show what their idea is, and that attacking on transition, for example, that attacking on turnover ball. And I think this weekend was a big step forward with regards to getting how they want to play. And then a nice, pretty close game, 21 points to 16, Leinster versus Munster. A very good game to watch. It's a couple of very cool tries being scored. Glasgow beating Ulster is a huge result for Glasgow, who remain top of the log. Well, what a season they're having. They are basically my adopted second team after I watched them in the first ever game of the URC and decided this is who I want to back. And I'll tell you what, looking pretty good. Stephen Kitsov making his debut, though, for Ulster, who remained in 4th place. And then Ospreys getting back to winning ways, 31 points to 9 against the Scarlets. So if we look at the table, here's Glasgow at the top, Leinster in 2nd, Vodacom Bulls at 3rd, then Ulster, Edinburgh, Barrington, Connacht, Munster. So all 4 Irish sides still within the top 8. The Lions knocking on the door, though, for the top 8. They're actually sitting above the Stormers with an extra point. And this is purely because the Lions have gotten bonus points along the way. They've always taken a point out of games. The Sharks move up to 7 points, going above Dragons and Scarlets. Need to find their way up the table pretty quickly, as do the Stormers. They travel again, though, to the Sharks to face a rampant Bulls side who are contending right at the top. So it's a big game this weekend for the Sharks to really see if they can contend, because a full-strength Sharks side on paper should probably be beating a Bulls side if you look at some of the players they have. But let me know what you thought about this weekend's URC action down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. My name is Steve. Thank you very much for watching. I'll chat to you soon.